Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends. Happy New Year, and welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
Hey, way to just botch
I know.
the opening of the first episode of 2021.
Did you forget your name or what happened?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
I said I'm Nash.
Yeah,
Right,
after like 5 seconds
after everybody else.
Oh, is there a delay?
No, I was right on time.
Okay.
No,
I was
you
right
weren't.
on time.
No, you weren't.
Nope.
Yes, I was. I swear I was.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. See, we're kicking off the new year fighting with each other about
Yeah.
Nash's timing. But hey, I'm excited. Brand new year of talking about the weird, the spooky, cryptids, all kinds of great things.
Yep.
Is everybody doing all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Doing great. Had a great holiday season. I could have a 5-second delay, but still doing great all the same.
That's all the holiday celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain's still trying to clean itself up.
Yeah, I had a few too many gin and tonics a couple nights back, so I polished off one of those bottles. Whatever the I can't even say the kind of gin it was because I can't remember.
Gunpowder?
Yes.
Gunpowder is an excellent gin.
I know.
We're not sponsored by Gunpowder.
Nope.
But we should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered that they have out there the big editorial they, the Royal they have diet tonic.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I no longer have to sacrifice by having tonic with sugar in it. I can now have it with no sugar in it.
Nice.
Which means I can drink a lot of it.
All right. Well, hey, you didn't turn in to listen to a podcast about gin, which I would probably keep in with the punching theme. I don't know. Gin grapplers. Gin. I don't know. I have nothing. We'll never start that podcast.
Right.
But a podcast we are doing is Paranormal Punchers. We are going to talk about Bobby Mackey's Music World. Or is it Bobby? Yeah, Music World?
Yep.
I almost wanted to call it World of Music. Like a theme park. But this came to us, was suggested by James Trahan in our Facebook group. So, James, here we go. We're going to talk about it. Kicking off the new year with your topic. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, before we get started, I want to remind everybody we have a Patreon. All kinds of exclusive podcasts over there. Ghost and Gastropubs. A D&D podcast we do. Creepy cryptids, we do that. What else, Lish? I think that's it.
Yeah. And
some video stuff.
The Dead Scripts Rise from the Grave.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on over there. So, hey, you want to support the show? It's only $1. Go check us out.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, without further ado, let's jump into Bobby Mackey's Music World. Mm-hmm. Now, to set the tone, here's a sign outside of the establishment. Warning to our patrons. This establishment is purported to be haunted. Management is not responsible and cannot be held liable for any actions of any ghost/spirits on these premises.
Nice.
All right. So Bobby Mackey's is located in Wilder, Kentucky. And their tagline on their website was, "Come for the ghosts and stay for the music." Now, Bobby Mackey's Music World is a former slaughterhouse and meat packing facility that served northwest Kentucky as well as parts of Ohio back in the 1850s. It eventually was demolished, and the new building became a casino, a nightclub, a speakeasy, and now a music club. It is considered to be the most haunted nightclub in America, and is also considered to be a gateway to hell.
Dun, dun.
All right, so originally it started out as a slaughterhouse. When they had that slaughterhouse, they had like down at the very bottom, they dug a well, and whenever they did slaughter the animals, all the blood and the guts was thrown down in this well. The slaughterhouse, it did close in the 1890s, and many believe that the well that was then it was used then for satanic rituals, both for animals and humans. So that is why a lot of people believe that the portal to hell is located right there where the well is.
Now, the well, didn't it just go down into a drainage system and right out into the river that's behind Bobby Mackey's?
Yes, it did. Right. And there is a river that goes right past Bobby Mackey's, and I will bring that up later. Because there is a weird thing about that river, too.
Man, when I was young, we used to swim in creeks. You know, we had like those rope swings. But if you were swimming in the creek right behind Bobby Mackey's, when it was the slaughterhouse, I guess there's just guts and blood. That would not be the best swimming hole.
All right, so some people say that the stairs that are near the well it's been nicknamed the stairs that lead to nowhere. Why? I'm not really sure. But people have heard phantom footsteps on the stairs as well. And a lot of people have heard growling down there. They felt dizziness down there, and even physical attacks. We'll bring up some more things about the well, but in 1896, Pearl Bryan, her headless body was discovered less than 2 miles from the slaughterhouse. She'd been pregnant, and her boyfriend, Scott, and his roommate, Alonzo, they were both dental students, and they invited her to come down so that they could perform an abortion on her. Unfortunately, they didn't do a good job. And
she was pregnant and she wanted the abortion?
That is what I'm gathering. But
what I came across was that she went there specifically for the abortion.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not like you want to have an abortion? Come on down.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. What are you doing on Wednesday? Why don't you come on down?
Because the one dude was her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So what I found, though, was in the official police report, and there's actually a whole side history to just this murder. This was the trial of the century around everything on that. They did say that, no, it wasn't. She didn't go there for this. They laced her with cocaine to knock her out.
What?
And tried to perform this and screwed it way up.
Wow.
And just murdered her when they realized they couldn't recover.
Oh, so she didn't go to them to get the abortion. She didn't want one. But they drugged her.
It didn't go into that. It's that it wasn't that she was going for that. It's that she arrived and she got knocked out. Whether they had talked about, I don't know.
Wow.
There was no, but that wasn't part of she wasn't a willing victim.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine them using cocaine to knock somebody out.
Right.
Yeah. It does the exact opposite of that.
Right.
That's really odd that they were trying to use cocaine. I mean, I don't know anything about drugs, but I know that cocaine doesn't keep you asleep.
Right.
Is that? Yeah.
I think it's the opposite, right?
I can see why the abortion was going wrong if they gave her a bunch of cocaine.
Right.
Yeah. Good luck knocking her out.
So they tried to cover their tracks by removing her head.
As you do.
Yeah. So I don't know if she was still alive at that point, because I did see some that thought that she was still alive. And
that's
others,
that's what I found. Was that she was still alive when they popped her head off.
Right. And then others that she had actually passed away. And so they were like trying to, like, the cops are not going to be able to figure out who she is if they cut her head off and hide the head. Unfortunately for them, they forgot to remove her shoes, which apparently were custom made.
So she had custom shoes on.
I know. Yep. So the police were able to figure out who did it. And while Alonzo and Scott were waiting to die on the gallows, Alonzo, he vowed he's going to haunt the area forever. Interestingly enough, Pearl's head was never found. And they,
right now, because the report is they threw it in that well.
Yeah.
The same well, all the blood and guts of the slaughterhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So it just shot out to the river?
Yep.
Well, so that's the side story on this. The official is that they took it back to the dental school that they were at that had a furnace.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't find that, but that's amazing. Yeah, because everything I found was that, they dumped it down the well. So many hypothesize that Scott was tied to a satanic cult. And it is said that they were offered life in prison if they revealed where Pearl's head was. But they refused because they didn't want to invoke the wrath of Satan. So, I don't know. Now, down in the basement, Bobby Mackey's wife, she has claimed to have been grabbed around the waist, picked up, thrown down, and then pushed down the stairs. And she believes it's Alonzo Walling that did that. I guess she found some pictures of Alonzo and Scott. Like, they're not even pictures. They're more like drawings of them. And that was who she thought actually threw her down the stairs. And he was also screaming at her to get out, get out. So because of that, she will never set foot in the club anymore. So
I always wondered what the smell would be like in that basement. Around that well.
Yeah.
Because, one of the little factoids, because this happened in like the 1850s when the slaughterhouse was there, right?
Yeah.
And from what I found is that the building, it had the site had evolved many times from the slaughterhouse. It was a distillery at one point.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. But I'm wondering, so if this was in the 1850s, the question that I had was that the Lysol was founded in 1889. But it was founded in Germany. And I'm wondering if that smell of all that blood going down there from the slaughterhouse, just constantly blood and entrails and eviscera going down into this well, I can't imagine what it smells like. If somebody pukes in a car, you smell that thing for weeks and weeks.
Right.
What is a basement filled with blood and guts, dried old nasty rotten blood and guts smell like?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Now, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it. This isn't a small drain. This is quite a large opening. And I'm pretty sure they were just constantly washing everything away.
It was washing down into the river.
It's not like stuff was sitting there rotting or anything.
Right.
It would be...
No, but it's got to get on the walls. And, you got to drag stuff down there. The buckets got to spill. People are like carrying it down the stairs,
I like how you compare the smell of a slaughterhouse to somebody who vomited in the backseat of your car.
No, I'm just saying that the time frame for something as minor as somebody throwing you up in the back of your car lasts for weeks and weeks. Something much more major, as in blood and guts and entrails, dried in this basement somewhere.
It's like in that Seinfeld episode where you can't get the smell of that sweaty guy out of the car
seat.
Okay.
Exactly. So I can only imagine how much disease was down in there, and that would drive you crazy. I can see why the wife didn't ever want to go down in there.
No,
it was the ghost. It was the stank.
And I'm pretty sure that after 40 years of the slaughterhouse, it went under because they realized carpet was the wrong thing to put in the slaughterhouse.
Exactly. They didn't have a freshness to plug into the wall,
Yeah. Now, people have also witnessed a headless ghost dressed in old clothing as well. Not just down in the basement. I think this headless ghost has been seen all throughout. Which also, headless Pearl Bryan, what's she doing? She's walking around without her head. She's trying to look for it, maybe.
Did they have the right shoes, or did they? That would be my question. The Headless Ghost, is it the right shoes?
I don't know. Nobody ever mentions the shoes, so.
So the shoes themselves aren't necessarily immediately recognizable. It was the tags inside were monogrammed.
Oh,
so you would have to take the shoe off the ghost to see that it's
Got it.
hers.
Well, you could, if you know, there was
right
the,
your theory, Nash.
Right.
A group of paranormal investigators went there. I mean, they could have asked. I think they could have asked for the ghost to take off their shoe. I'm just saying. I think that would be a minor thing to ask. Excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. Ghost, can you just take off your shoes for a second?
Then it turns out to be Satan, and there's hoofs for feet.
Now, the slaughterhouse, it was demolished, and the lot sat empty until the 1920s, when a new building was built, and it became a casino, a nightclub, and the speakeasy that I think you were talking about, Nash. In 1933, after Prohibition ended, E.A. Buck Brady, he bought the building and named it Primrose Casino. Eventually, because it was very profitable and there was a lot of like shady stuff going on there, the Cincinnati mobsters, they became attracted to this place. And they tried to kind of muscle their way into it. Many mob members, they would threaten or fight customers out in the parking lot. So eventually, Buck, he went and got a gun. He had enough. He went out and he shot Albert Red Masterson, or what I found was he drew a gun. So I didn't really find like that he actually shot, but I think he actually did, because he was charged with attempted murder. He left the casino business in 1946, and what I read was that he kind of just walked away from it. So the mob actually took over.
You know, it sounds like what the club needed was a cooler. As in Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse.
Yeah. I thought that's where you're going with it.
Dalton.
Yeah.
Dalton,
That's right. The mob started fights in the parking lot. You send Dalton in.
Yep.
They make one comment about, I thought you'd be bigger.
Gets him in the neck with that technique that he has. Rip out the
I know.
neck.
He's ripping throats out left and right. Yep.
Now, people have witnessed a ghost matching the description of Buck Brady. And then also, I read that people have seen ghosts matching descriptions of some of these mob people that probably were in the news or whatever. So just an interesting point of history, like that this place, there's a lot of stuff going on in this building. Now, it reopened in the 1950s as a nightclub called the Latin Quarter. There was a dance hall girl named Johanna who wore rose-scented perfume, and she fell in love with one of the singers that he would perform like every night or whatever. His name was Robert Randall. She got pregnant and wanted to run away with him, but her father found out and killed Randall to prevent that. Now, she ended up poisoning her father and then committed suicide. I found in the basement, we were watching some videos and they were talking about other places that she committed suicide. So I have no idea where.
Well, we were watching that one video. We were talking about her spirit is seen up in the attic.
Yeah.
I don't think they meant that's where she drank the poison. I think that was like her secret place to go and, write love letters to Randall.
Ah, okay.
So maybe she still haunts that area because it was special to her.
Right. Now, I'm going to bring this up because, well, I'll just say it. There was a guy that he claimed that there was like this stifling heat that he felt in there. A trash can went flying through the air, and a man with a handlebar mustache, he said, die game, which according to the Travel Channel, their website, it says was Latin for dying well or dying good. I didn't look it up, so.
Oh, I thought it literally meant the ghost was like, all right, it's time to play die game. Tag, you're it.
Yeah.
Like craps or something.
Right. That, according to Travel Channel, that it's Latin, so which is why I bring it up, because it's the Latin Quarter. That was the name of the building. I don't know why I put it there, but but that was in the men's restroom. Bobby Mackey's wife also claims that she was overwhelmed by the scent of roses in the basement. And one employee has seen a spirit that called herself Johanna and would often speak to him and leave the scent of roses as well.
Well, that's nice because it stinks down there.
Right.
Oh, anything they can do. That ghost is just hanging out, making things better for everybody. It's really more of a helpful ghost.
Now, in 1978, this is when a young country singer by the name of Bobby Mackey, he purchased the building, and he decided to turn it into a music hall and tavern, which is what we have today. Now, interesting enough, he does not believe, or he doesn't want to believe, that the ghosts are there. He does not think anything weird's happening. It can all be, explained.
Yeah, he's very much a skeptic. Even though I read in a book by, let me got it, author's name, Douglas Hensley, that when Bobby Mackey and his wife Janet, was that?
Yeah, I think.
When they were first looking at the property before he bought it, they had saw like a door slam shut. She was freaked out. He's like, no big deal. But then he also thought he saw a woman. He was like, hey, you there. But they found nothing. He's like, probably just a trick of an eye. It's not a big deal. Even though there was things that happened when they were touring the building before he bought it, he just chalked it up to like, it's nothing, wind. It was my imagination. So yeah, he's just the ever skeptic.
Yeah.
Where I would have been like, we are not buying this.
Right.
or we're going to buy it and make a ghost hunting amusement park.
Now, when they bought it, they were doing some renovations, and he actually hired a man, Carl Lawson. And Carl Lawson was part of the business for quite a long time. But I know that they didn't know that there was a well. It was covered up, I think. And then, do you have information on Carl?
I do. Now, Carl Lawson, he was employee of Bobby Mackey's, but basically like the first employee. He has passed away January 26th of 2012. But while he worked there, now when he first met Bobby Mackey, he walked in and introduced himself, said he used to work there when it was a nightclub. So he knew a lot about the property. And hey, if Bobby, if you're looking for help, I'd love to help out. So got hired right on the spot. And why Janet and then Carl were just looking around the property, there was this moment where I think Carl found a picture that was was on the floor, picked it up, hung it back up, made a comment about, I always loved that picture, and then kind of turned away from Janet and just whispered, let's see, I'm back and I'm here to stay this time. I won't leave again, I promise. So did Carl already have experience with the ghost there? That to me sounds like very nonchalant, like the spirits didn't bother him. But again, that changed.
Yeah.
Now, Carl would try to explain to some of the stuff to Bobby Mackey. Bobby didn't really want to hear it about these hauntings, but he would tell about these really weird things that would go on with all kinds of, sounding like people were just partying on the dance floor, a lot of just banging and weird noises. Again, Bobby didn't want to hear about this. But Bobby did meet an author, that Douglas Hensley, who was really interested. And Carl told him a lot of the stuff that was going on, and that got turned into a book. But now in this time period, Carl was getting just weirder and stranger and was talking to himself. And so it got to a point where he had an exorcism performed on him, because it was almost like every spirit had possessed Carl.
Jeez.
And was working through him. So let me play a little clip. And this is actually from the Jerry Springer Show, of all shows. What they were on. Well, when the author put this book out, it it got a lot of traction. People were very interested. So they were on Geraldo and Springer, but they showed a clip to the audience of this exorcism. I'm going to play just a little bit here.
Charlie, it's time for you to leave.
I won't go.
It's time for every...
I want to go!
Yes, you are going.
I'm not leaving!
Yes, you are. Yes,
If
you
I leave, we all have to leave!
Leaving. 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 You gotta leave tonight.
I don't have to go nowhere!
Yes, you do.
This body is mine!
No, it's not.
This body is mine!
No, it's not. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth and on the authority of God's word, I command Charlie, I command Sam, I command every spirit to leave.
Crazy, right?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
for sure.
And it was like, if I leave, because he was talking to, I guess, a spirit, Charlie, in his body. If I have to leave, we all have to leave. And they're like, we are not leaving this body.
God. Mm-mm.
But this went on for hours, and I think they did it, well, according to Ghost Adventures, when they talked to him, in the kitchen of Bobby Mackey's.
Oh, as you do.
Well, yeah, because you want a sandwich in the middle of an investigation like that.
But, yeah, very, I don't know, interesting that this caretaker seemed to know that there was ghosts there. Well, and he was living there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bobby hired him, but eventually made him caretaker and gave him the apartment to live above there. So he was always around this stuff, and it scared him enough that when he, at night, would go to bed, he would barricade the door and sleep with a shotgun.
Wow.
That's how afraid he was of this stuff.
Wow. Holy moly.
Now, they believe that, many people believe that Bobby Mackey's is infested with over 40 reported ghosts. Mm-hmm. And there are hot spots all throughout, obviously, the basement where the well is. There is a catwalk over the stage that apparently is also kind of a hot spot. Mm-hmm. There's a platform near the kitchen, so maybe that's why they did it in the kitchen. That it's a hot spot. I don't know.
Most likely, they had table and chairs.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. Bobby Mackey's it throughout the whole building. It has your typical like haunted things that happen: cold spots, orbs. People see shadows. There's a hazy mist that people have seen. People have been touched. There's been physical attacks. But people have also claimed to see ghosts in the big mirror in the main room. Mm-hmm. So that's weird. I think that would freak me out if I looked in a mirror and it'd be like, oh, there's somebody behind me, but not really. The manager claims on several occasions that she has closed down the club, making sure the lights are off and the doors are locked, only to find out later that the bar lights are on, the front doors are unlocked, and the jukebox is playing a song, even though it is unplugged and doesn't even have that song as an offering. So, yeah. One employee has even seen a dark, very angry man behind the bar. And then I have a couple little stories I just want to read. In the mid-1990s, a car lost control on Licking Road, which is the road that goes right by Bobby Mackey's.
Oh, that's also the name of the creek behind.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It smashed into a telephone pole just outside the club, at the club's front door. The occupants were killed immediately. Larry Hornsby was the first policeman at the scene. As he stood there looking over the wreckage, a woman dressed in an evening gown came out of the club and offered him a pair of tablecloths to lay over the faces of the dead. The next week, Hornsby came by to thank her. The club, he learned, had been locked and no such woman existed.
Wow.
So, not sure who that was. But a bar regular also reported an attack in the men's bathroom. While washing his hands, he looked into the mirror, and there was a man-shaped hole in the air. I'm not sure what that means, but he
noticed man-shaped hole?
A man-shaped hole. And it even had a cowboy hat type of shape. It came at him, punching and kicking and clawing at him until he fainted. Wow. Upon recovering, he ran straight to Bobby and told him he had to get control of his club's evil spirits. Bobby laughed, assuming it was a joke, but he wasn't laughing. He sued Bobby for negligence in allowing the ghost to operate without any warnings to patrons. Of course, the judge threw the case out, but following the advice of his lawyer, that is when Bobby put that warning sign up in the front, so he wouldn't get sued again. He has no control over these ghosts. But
now, I had a question with regards to these Satanists coming and doing. There was something about Satanists using the place for rituals.
Yeah.
And either they were. This was much. I think it was considerably earlier than the manhole bathroom fight. I don't know, but it had to do with Satanists using the place for the basement for rituals.
Right.
I didn't really find any time frame on when that happened. Did you guys come across anything?
No.
Yes.
No. Okay, go ahead, Dave. I was thinking it was the 1980s.
1890s.
1890s.
Oh, I had that backwards.
1890s. Yep. So 1850s when the slaughterhouse opened, and it ran for approximately 40 years successfully, but then it got into disrepair, rundown, and ceased operations. But before it was torn down, that's when it started to have rumors of the satanic rituals going on.
Goodness.
And then it was 1896 when Pearl was murdered. So somewhere between 1 and 6 years is how long this was going on.
Okay.
Up to the time of her death.
And didn't the Satanists, weren't they involved in the case, in Pearl's case? Because I came across something where the Satanists came back and they were reported to have cursed everyone involved with the case.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't find that.
Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, now, of course, I like to think logistics on this.
Right.
Because when you're talking about, a murder trial in a case, you've got your jurors, you've got your prosecuting attorney, the judge. But you also have, the county clerk. You've got, the transcriptionist people. You've got all these fringe people involved with the trial. So I'm wondering if you're you came to work that day. Okay. And you're la-da-dee-dee-da, I'm going to work. all I do is I just file the cases when they get done in their file cabinet. And, I'm just like an office manager, office assistant. And now you're screwed because these Satanists cursed you because you were involved in this case. I'm thinking that's kind of the short end of the stick for these Satanists, that they really, if this is my official word to the Satanist community, please be more specific with your curses, because this person was an innocent. You had a whole staff of people working at the courthouse who were innocent. Somebody might have been a driver for the judge.
Right.
Oh, he was, indirectly involved, and he just got his life screwed up. I mean, just stick to the goats and the blood and the, whatever else you're doing. Just leave the innocents alone. That's my PSA for today.
I feel like after your PSA, I need to get another gin and tonic to scrub that from my brain.
I just think it's a real shame. You got a lot of hardworking people going to work who getting cursed for no apparent reason.
So I kind of want to springboard off of that, but in a completely different direction.
All right.
So part of what I was researching is around the whole portal to hell and the satanic activity and whatnot. I didn't hear anything about that, but there's two different stories of what's going on here. Okay. First, two side stories that lead into this. First off is that the back in the prehistory, this was a contested area between a number of different Native American tribes. and that they were always at war, and that the riverbanks are lined with Native American bones.
Oh boy.
And that the river runs red with blood throughout history. Okay. And then when the settlers came in and started setting up here, they massacred all the Native Americans that were still there.
Of course.
Okay. So this is built on Native American burial grounds type of thing.
You never want to do that.
You never want to do that. Okay. I said there was two stories. I'll save one for a little bit later. But then, yeah, so the slaughterhouse is built, and then Pearl's murder. There's two stories, two sides of the story, really. The official story is that Pearl was never anywhere near the slaughterhouse. Okay,
right.
The two suspects were never there. Her body was never there. Her head isn't there. Nothing about the slaughterhouse was used with her murder. Okay, her body was found 2.5 miles away.
Right.
Okay. The other side of it is that she went missing, and when they went searching, they went to this place because there was rumors of satanic activity going on, and they found the two suspects in the basement by the well.
Oh.
And on the ground was drawn a pentagram. Blood was splattered everywhere, and apparently they had thrown her head down the well and dumped her body away from it.
Wow.
And the story goes that the reason the portal to hell has opened is the blood of all the animals that were killed there, plus the Native American battles, and then the Native American massacre by the hands of the settlers, and then Pearl's murder, all put together. This opened up this pathway. And that's why the basement is such a hot spot, because it's just a portal of nothing but grief and despair and death.
Wow.
And that going down there, you're going to get, just attacked on every level of from fear on down, and that's how this whole thing manifested.
And I think that's why that one ghost likes to keep it rose scented down there, just to give you some plus and all these negatives.
Right.
You're just going down there to put some storage away, and you're like, this is the worst place on the universe. And you smell roses, and you're like, you know what?
Well, so tying into that, that's the second story, the side story. I don't know if any of you saw.
Hold on. You're going to hold that side story.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with even more scary things about Bobby Mackey's. We'll be right back.
Oh, my God. Honey, look. It's Bigfoot.
No way. Let's go say hi. Hey, Mr. Bigfoot. What you reading?
You can call me Frank, and I'm reading the Paranormal Punchers comic book.
Paranormal Punchers?
Yeah, it's about a group of podcasters that get themselves in all kinds of paranormal trouble. It's like Scooby-Doo meets the X-Files, and it's hilarious.
Sounds great. Where can we get a copy?
Just head over to paranormalpunchers.com where you can find a comic book and all kinds of merchandise.
Thanks, Mr. Bigfoot. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, and look out for that bear.
And we're back. All right. There is more to talk about and unpack about Bobby Mackey's. Dave, you were about to tell us about another interesting story.
So one interesting fact, the woman who committed suicide in the basement, Johanna, or possibly the basement, she did that because her lover had been killed by her father. And the lover's name was Robert Randall. Interestingly enough, Bobby Mackey's real name is Robert Randall Mackey. And supposedly his mother changed his name to that minutes before she gave birth.
Wow.
Like it was an instantaneous decision. This wasn't something that was thought out. So it's interesting when Nash, you were talking about the rose scented perfume.
Right.
That was Johanna, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering if that all ties together and something, Bobby Mackey possibly has a past life or something that's tying this together. And that's why he's drawn to it, but he's actually oblivious to it.
Or just a huge coincidence.
Right.
But it's very, very interesting.
That's a pretty giant sized coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, but true story. I had nothing else. Like, you're right. It's a giant coincidence.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But it's a Robert Randall. It flows.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I can see how, Bobby's mom was like, ooh, that's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't do any research. Maybe it's a popular name in Kentucky.
Right. Or maybe she likes looking through, the old newspapers, finding murder victims, and
who suspected me their murderers and be like, you know what? That's a nice name.
Oh, man. Could you imagine if there was a mom that did that? And she had like a whole bunch of kids. You have Ted Bundy. You got Robert. That would be.
Yep.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what weren't you gonna, Mark, weren't you gonna name Alex? Wasn't you gonna name him Ted Bundy as his first
Ted Bundy Sheets? No, I don't think that was my first choice.
No.
Ted Bundy Sheets. I mean, it has a nice ring to it.
Richard Ramirez Sheets. I don't think that was my.
Yeah.
No. That was
Jason Chartier.
that'd be a terrible, terrible way
Yeah.
to figure out a kid's name.
Hey, people do what you do. I'm just saying. You do what you do. And they're so. I mean, I kind of have a theory about this whole thing,
Okay.
and because I don't necessarily think that it might be that it's a portal to hell, but I definitely think that this is. When we were talking about Aleister Crowley, we were talking about how that site was like a magnet. It was just bringing ghosts in and holding them there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that this is kind of that, and not so much like an actual portal to hell. With the amount of Indian deaths, the slaughterhouse, the murders, even Satanists, that it's not necessarily a portal to hell, like in Huska Castle, but more just like a magnet holding things around, because there's all kinds of crazy things happen around the area.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Carl. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Lish, but him and Bobby were, kind of exploring the property. They ripped up some floorboards and they found this well. Yeah. And it was Carl who kind of felt like this is the portal to hell. He was the one who, I don't want to say made that story up, but felt strongly about this being a portal to hell. And because it wasn't always, when he was talking to the book author, it wasn't just about hauntings. It wasn't about ghosts. He believed demons also took up residence at Bobby Mackey's.
I had read that also, that it was not just ghosts and haunting, but it was demons. But I was having a heck of a time to find any reports of demons.
But I think it's like the negativity maybe there
that draws the demons.
Yeah, I don't know. I was having a heck of a time on the demon side of things.
I mean, that's sort of, I kind of agree with Nash on this, that it's not so much a portal to hell, that like demons are coming out of hell to come into the world through this, but that there's such a magnet of negative energy that it attracts just pure evil.
So
all the time.
In theory, it is still a portal per se.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily lead to hell, but it attracts hell.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it be from the amount of deaths that were there and just all the atrocities that were happening there. I mean, it feels like, to use an analogy, that's where the pudding skin is at its thinnest. It's one of the spots where they have just worn it down over time to the point that they've created this area that is highly susceptible, and constantly they're seeing spirits, and that just over time all this death and blood and evil has been there, that the veil between the two it's not even pudding skin, it's just like rice paper.
You can just dip right in and get fresh pudding every time.
I know, right? You don't even need a spoon, you can just do it with your finger. I'm just saying.
I don't think there were any reports of like haunted things happening there before Bobby bought it. So I was theorizing that possibly because they were renovating and Carl Lawson, he actually had visions of where the well was, which is why, like, because it was covered up, and he had visions of where it was, and there was something there. So he pulled up the wood and realized, oh, there's a well here. So like, we've talked about this, like any renovating going on in a building, sometimes that stirs up what is there. But I do know that some believe that spirits can't cross flowing water. The Licking River may be keeping the dark forces trapped inside the building. It is only one of 2 rivers in the world that flows north. There's only 2 in the world that go up versus down. So
interesting.
I don't know if that's anything, but just a weird fun fact.
Yeah. Now I want to get back to evil for a second.
Yes, do it.
Or 2. But as you know, the Ghost Adventures crew, they were there. In fact, it was their very first episode, season 1 episode. They went there. And, Zach did his, his taunting.
Did he get possessed?
No, he didn't get possessed, but he got scratched. Like 3 long scratches on his back. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so they went back season 4, episode 3. And this is from an interview he did on dreadcentral.com. And some of this stuff is interesting because it brings up the attachments that happened to some of the crew members even him. So possibly there's some serious evil here. But just let me read this here for you. Things started happening at my house when I got back from the event. The event being season 4 filming. I headed immediately back to my apartment. I was dating this girl at the time. It was like 3 days later, and I just didn't feel like myself. I still wanted to kill people. One night, we were sleeping in my bed where the rosary was. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I saw all these black shadow figures in my room. I scooped her up, and we got out of there as fast as we could. After that, everything changed. Over the course of the next 3 years, about 14 to 16 friends of mine, all female, have been attacked in my house.
What?
And about 80% of them knew nothing about me or the show. So, is all that directly because of Bobby Mackey's or other things he did? But it happened after they went back to film that episode. Mm-hmm. And it didn't stop. So, again, to quote Zach, the most profound thing happened when I got dragged out of bed by my ankles a couple months ago. Ever since then, I've slept downstairs in a little tiny guest bedroom at my house with the door locked. I'll never sleep up there again. I know it's all from Bobby Mackey's. When we went back there to do the return episode, we started revealing shit to each other, and we started realizing how weird it was that Bobby Mackey is the only one who's never been attacked.
Right.
He's the one that still doesn't believe that this is happening. Yet his own wife, who is now deceased, would never step foot in there. She would never go in there because of getting pushed down the stairs. Carl Lawson, the guy who was possessed there, just passed away. Bobby's best friend just passed away. I'm not saying that any of these deaths are related to the haunting, but you got to look at everything that's going on. It's a movie. It's a real-life movie. He's like the guy from Dusk Till Dawn at the Titty Twister that allows people to go into his bar and for these evil things to feed off of it. He's the only bar owner I know of that was ever sued by a patron of the establishment because he was attacked by ghosts. The plaintiff won his case, too, which goes against what you said earlier.
Yeah, I thought the judge threw it out.
So the judge threw it out.
Yeah.
Well, Zach is quoted saying this. Yeah. So stories differ.
Yeah.
But he seemed... All right, so as I'm reading through this, and the reason I wanted to read it to you, number one, the strange things that happened after he did the investigation of Bobby Mackey's.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about, Carl thought there was more than just ghosts. There was demons. Mm-hmm. They have a habit of taunting and being a little aggressive, but things followed him home. But to be dragged out of your bed by something unseen, I don't know.
Right.
That's
the
scary.
source that I was using for the portal to hell concept mentioned that, and it just had a small sentence at the end that said that Zach ended up having to have an exorcism to clear it. I don't know if that was after that interview or if the site that was not, just made that part up or what, but. Yeah.
That's the problem with the internet.
Yeah.
And I found it very interesting, too, to compare it to the barn from Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Where people are the truckers and bikers are being lured there.
Right.
And there's evil there. Now, and that's in the movie, it was vampires. But here, it's maybe demons or evil spirits.
Yep.
Even to wake up in your room and see a bunch of shadow people running around.
Right.
Yeah, I'd scoop you up too and get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe.
No,
I'm kidding, honey.
Shadow people in the room.
I'd be like, take her. I would not. I'd scoop you up and get out of there. But I'd leave the dog.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm kidding, puppy.
I'm starting to think more and more that maybe Bobby Mackey might be. I mean, he might not know, but I'm thinking that it's like maybe he drew unknowingly to himself,
right?
Drew Carl to him because Carl for whatever reason was like a conduit. That Carl, because he was so easily possessed and he could tell where the well was, that he was super sensitive and maybe didn't know it.
Yeah.
And it just seems like, I don't want to say like a puppeteer kind of a thing, but if he doesn't know about it, I mean, I don't know.
Are you saying Carl's sort of like a Grima Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings?
Maybe more like a he doesn't know it, but he is more sensitive and has I don't know.
Okay.
Almost as like not like a Wormtongue. I would say Carl was a Wormtongue.
Yeah, that's what I said. Sorry, Carl was the Wormtongue speaking in Bobby's ear.
Yeah.
And Bobby doesn't even realize it. And
Bobby didn't realize it. And Bobby, he might have something else that.
I guess, has there been anything reported since Carl's death?
I don't know, but since Nash was going to some outlandish theories and conversations, I was like, oh man, Bobby Mackey always had the ability to he could hear a song and kind of replicate it. Very musically just gifted. And I've heard his song Joanna. He's a great singer. So he has this club, and it's pulling all these people for this negative energy feed off to feed his performance. That would be an outlandish horror movie. I'm not saying that does not anything to do with the story of Bobby Mackey. That was kind of a what-if horror movie.
Yeah.
No, my whole thought on it was Bobby Mackey he doesn't believe in it. And I think that is what is kind of, he's not open to it. So things aren't necessarily happening to him, but it's happening to everybody else because other people maybe are more open to paranormal stuff.
Sleeper in the whole thing. Yeah. He's a sleeper. He's actually the boss, but he's a sleeper and doesn't know it. His human persona doesn't perceive it, and so all these things happen around him, and it's just.
Now this location has been on my list to visit.
Yeah.
Just because of watching episodes of Ghost Adventures when they were there, hearing about it on other podcasts, but doing the research that we did. But just listening to Zach's experience kind of makes me wonder if I really do want to go and put myself in a situation where I could get an attachment. What about you guys? If you believe in that, whatever. I'm just curious, with all the tales told, would you want to go there or not?
I mean, I think it'd be kind of freaky, knowing what could be there, but I feel like the risk of attachment is anywhere. I mean, like even something that's never had attachment, like the the lighthouse, what's to say that doesn't decide that you're the one and follow you home? Like,
no, you're right.
No, to find out what Dave means by lighthouse, go to our Patreon where we did an episode about the St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Yep.
Sorry about the plug.
No, we've talked about this too. When you are at a place doing a ghost hunt, you always want to tell the ghosts, you are not welcome to come with me. You are staying here when you leave, because you want to make sure that nothing's following you home. So, I
mean, we do that hoping that it works, but I mean, with any demon or anything like this, maybe they just laugh at you when you say that.
True story.
You might need some stronger mojo.
Possibly.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's not on my. It's off my list. I'm just saying, like, it's going to give me deeper thought here, like going in there, who I'm going with. Do I need what kind of protection do you take in? Not saying I don't want to see it. Just makes me think a little harder on how I approach it. I don't think just running in there with the EMF detector like, woohoo, I'm here. Maybe I'll put a little more planning into it.
Gatekeeper Paranormal is a tour group. They go in for 2 hours, go to all 3 floors. They tell you some history and then also some paranormal stuff that goes on in there. And you can spend a little time in each location for a brief, like, paranormal investigation. You have to bring your own equipment, I believe. But there is also a private group investigation. I think I would lean towards the 2-hour one where I'm, like, with a bunch of people.
Right.
And I don't have to spend a whole lot of time, like, talking to the ghosts. But,
well.
I don't know if it'd be on my list. I'm not much of a country music fan, so I probably would.
I'm not a huge fan, but I think it would be fun to kind of just maybe be in that environment, listening to music and with people. I don't know.
Sure.
But
I will say one of my favorite concepts is the portals to hell, and especially any kind of hole in the ground type thing. Like Huska is my, that's my favorite topic. And this one, looking at the pictures of the well, I'm like, I would love to go see that. I want to go to Huska to see well, you can't see the hole because it's covered over, but things like that. Any of those places I'm automatically interested in.
Well, you can get into the drain pipe and walk up in there, I think, where the well actually dumps down into the drainage system.
Yeah.
Right.
So we could do a little urban exploring. I mean, it's going to be, gray water and rats, and it'd probably be spooky, but we could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, it smells good.
Yeah.
Better bring those roses.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or hope we see Johanna.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm more into it now. I was just thinking that maybe I feel like I have the bad luck sometimes. The fact that when we went to the bar that one time, that old man was like, "Excuse me, do you know you have 3 spirits following you?" So if sounds like I get attachments, and I don't want to get any from Bobby Mackey's, but
I feel like you're more open to what's out there, whereas I feel like I am more reserved. So, which is probably why they are attracted to you.
But maybe like 3's the limit. All the demons are like, "Oh, bummer, he's already got 3." Well, what Lisha? She has 9. I'll take.
It's a 3 ghost max.
Right.
Yeah, so what you're saying is basically is that wherever we go, whether it's Bobby Mackey's or we go to Huska or we go wherever, that really what we should do is send you, Mark, in first. Okay? We send you in, give it about a half an hour or so, and then have you go out of the building so that we can go investigate after that. So that if anything negative gets attached to anything, they're like, "Oh, Mark, he always picks up stuff like that. He's always picking up strange ghosts." And
am I like that old school Life commercial? Mike will eat it. He'll eat anything. You'll send Mark in first. They'll attach to Mark. Everything attaches to Mark. Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly right.
But I wouldn't want to do that because then there wouldn't be anything left to investigate.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Nash, if that went down, if we went there,
we just investigate him.
I don't like the sounds of that.
I mean, not like pat downs and cavity searches, but
it's all fun and games till we go over to Days for an after investigation drink, and I leave a couple there.
Right? Yeah. Yep.
Wait, hold on. My brain wants to take me somewhere about you leaving a couple at Dave's house. But I don't go there.
Don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there.
Where we're gonna go to wrap up Bobby Mackey's, just to play a couple EVPs that we found from a group called Paranormal Investigations of Wichita. So this one, and Lish, you had mentioned the bathroom where the man-shaped hole appeared, and then started karate fighting that dude.
Right.
All right, so this is from the men's room. Nope, that's where guy was in the men's room, and then the man-shaped hole, and
zip, turn that thing off.
Just shh.
Why'd you beat that guy up?
All right, so the investigators ask, why'd you beat that guy up? I'm assuming they're referring to the same guy who got his butt handed to him by the spirit. Mm-hmm. And you could hear it say something. Could you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yeah.
They interpreted. I'll play it one more time. They interpreted that the EVP says, weird effer. Why'd you beat that guy up? Weird effer.
Why'd you beat that guy up?
I don't know if I get that, but there was definitely something that they captured on there that was growling something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think there's one more from the bathroom. Check this one out.
It was that noise.
What?
That's a pretty distinctive
Yes.
Yeah.
EVP. She was like, hey, she heard something. She says, hey, what's that noise? And then you hear it. What's all that noise?
Yeah.
So, but I wonder if there's something is hanging out in this bathroom.
Yeah.
And he's claimed it as his own space, and anybody comes in there.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, that's from Paranormal Investigations of Wichita.
Oh, those are a pretty good couple EVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'll post a link to that, so if anybody wants to go listen to them and check their website out, I'll post that in the show notes and the sources.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would definitely want to check this out. Kentucky's not that far. In fact, Scott T gave us a bunch of locations in Kentucky to check out. At this point, it sounds like we need like an entire week off to go to Kentucky.
Right.
If not more.
Yeah. There's a lot of things down there I think I would like to see.
Yeah. I'm game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of them are in the men's bathroom.
Well,
Nash, we're going to stick you there, and you can fight the manhole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how the show is ending.
Yeah.
All right. James, thank you so much for suggesting this topic. We had a lot of fun looking it up. It was something that's always been an interest to me. And I think even Lish, we had talked about this place a couple times. So, hey, if you want to give us a topic, find us on Facebook or just go to paranormalpunchers.com. You'll find all the ways to contact us.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you. All right. So, 2021, fellas.
Yep.
Looking for fun things to happen. As we mentioned on the last episode, we're going to try to make a movie this year.
Yeah.
Bigfoot Ridge. And I'm going to start reaching out, trying to find a director of photography. And we'll keep you posted how it goes. Hoping we can get it accomplished. You just never know how the year's going to go.
Yeah.
And all the other weirdness it could bring.
Right.
But I'm going to try my darndest to bring this production together and make it happen. And can't wait to see what we produce.
Right.
Well, anything that you guys are looking forward to doing in the new year?
Well, right now, I'm not really looking ahead that much right now. The way 2020 rolled out, I'm just kind of like assessing and.
You want to slow play it?
Yeah.
Just to see how the year goes. I get it.
Where we are, and try to get things in line so that the next year isn't quite as the same situation as last year was.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
Well, with any luck, we can hit up a haunt this year. A haunted location, not a haunt. A haunted location to do an investigation like when we did Jenny Wade. That was a lot of fun to do. And I'd like to get back to us going out on location to do a live podcast, essentially.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have luck this year. We can do it. Some more fun things on our Patreon we're going to try to achieve this year. But maybe I'll take Nash's approach and just take it slow. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Like, did you guys hear about this one item they put into the stimulus bill that in 180 days the government has to let us know any UFO findings?
No,
I didn't hear about that.
I did not know that. I like it.
I like it too.
I know.
Now, it's the government, so maybe they only tell us what they think we can handle, but I'm very curious. Now, this was Chromos had Facebook messaged me a link about this. And he says it's going to be an interesting 180 days. I'm like, yeah. If this is real and actually it happens and they give us some information, I'm very excited to hear about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Planted that little seed. Now think about that. What are they going to tell us?
Right.
180 in 6 months. In 6 months' time.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that there's going to be a list. It's going to be a list, like a list of names, you're, in movies you're always looking for like Secret Service names, all these the agent names, and it's going to be the list of names is going to be massive, and it's just going to be like a list that's handed down from aliens coming to Earth saying, "We're so sorry. Here's the list of people that we probed. Take care of them."
Oh, I thought you were like, on 180 days mark, you're not going to be laughing at me anymore because the aliens are going to come down and say, yes, Celine Dion is an alien.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
That's exactly where I was going.
And then Nash would be like, I'll be like, oh, did I bet you $1 million you're wrong about a year ago? Shoot.
All these people are going to come out of the world. We're going to say, yes, we're actually aliens too. Yeah, and they're going to be a whole, the world's going to go upside down because all these people are going to come out. It's like a big coming out party just for aliens.
Okay.
Yeah. Come June. Yeah.
Right. What if in 180 days it's the reveal that, it's all lizard people like your next door neighbor?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
The principal at your school. They were aliens the whole time. That's the reveal. Then you're like, you call for, hey, Alicia. And then she comes in. Boom. She's an alien. Like, my whole life's been a lie.
Oh, God.
Then I wake up in the Matrix.
Okay.
So what you're saying
one of us, in the movies, one of us has to be the lizard person.
Right.
Yeah, and
so
you were
me?
You've not been voluntold.
Right, and 50-50 shot.
Total Recall taught me anything. You're the mole.
Well, I hope you're not. You swear right now on the podcast you're not from another world and a alien lizard person disguised as a human.
I'm not.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Well, it should be interesting. Hopefully, you guys have a great 2021. Also, again, like I said, reach out to us. Any topic ideas, any paranormal stories. We'll keep you posted on what we got going on, and we'll be here every other Tuesday this year for you and your listening enjoyment. Check us out on Patreon for even more Paranormal Punchers. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. And in the words of Zach Baggins,
I'm possessed.
I'm possessed, yeah. I don't know why I went there. I was like trying to come up with something clever, and sometimes you just stop talking, and you stop talking, and you do the outro, which is, and remember, if it's not weird,
it's not worth checking out.
Bye.